Welcome to this Sunday's Gospel Reflection. We all must have had our fishing experience. Some people fish for fish, others fish for gullible people whom they can swindle or profit from. Others, they fish for compliments, praise, approval. Some are like terrifying sharks themselves, seeking weaker and smaller fish to exploit and devour. We are all born professional fishermen or fisherwomen. Have you ever been to the beach in summer? Just look at the little children frolicking and playing in the shallow waters. They are constantly seeking the attention of their watchful parents. Mommy, mommy, look at me. I can dive, I can swim very fast. That's fishing for compliments. And let's be honest, the more we grow up, the more we become good at it. Life is like a fishing trip. We need food and drink to survive, but most of all, we need to be acknowledged, noted, appreciated, cherished. We are all hungry and thirsty, not just for food or drink, but for recognition, for importance. We need to be seen and loved. We are all hungry and thirsty, not just for bread or for fish. We are hungry for a loving, tender acceptance of who we are. These are the deep waters that we all need to navigate through our lives. From our first childhood, we all become expert fishers of compliments. Our hunger, our thirst is not just for bread or fish or pizza. That's just our basic struggle for survival. But we are made for greater things. And this is what Jesus is inviting us for, together with his disciples. He challenges us bluntly and yet lovingly. Move out to deeper waters. Do not get stuck in the shallow waters like frolicking and splashing toddlers. Don't get stuck in the day-to-day struggle for survival. There is more to life than just surviving. Life is much more than toiling just to make ends meet. You are made for greater things. So often, like the apostles, we end up disheartened, discouraged. We feel that we have struggled all night without catching anything. Lots of huffing and puffing, lots of painful effort and sacrifice, only to end up frustrated and empty handed. How often do we end up empty handed and frustrated in spite of all our efforts? Jesus cannot help pitying our small mindedness, our weak heartedness. He wants to shake us up, to reveal to us where we can find the big fish and the plentiful catch. Put out in deeper waters. Jesus sees us and our life so differently from the way we see it. We see the effort, he sees the potential. We see our weaknesses, he sees our strengths. We see our failures, he sees our giftedness. We see the heavy price and painful challenge. He sees the gloriousness of the gift. We see the mistakes, but he sees the faithfulness. We see the pain and price of the task, yet he sees the joy and the radiant glory of the mission. We see the struggle, he sees the victory. Peter and his fellow apostles were so overwhelmed by their own failures, limitations, they simply gave up. "Depart from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man," said Peter. How often, like them, like him, we simply cannot believe that our greatness as human beings does not lie in our achievements or our successes. We keep seeing life from our own little point of view and never from Jesus' point of view. Like Peter, our reaction is still conditioned by a short-sighted, self-centered perception of our own weakness and failures. "Depart from me, because I am a sinful man." Like so many of us, even in spite of so many marvelous and miraculous gifts and blessings, we remain stuck in our self-rejection. "I am a sinful man." How hard it is to accept our weakness, our limitations, without condemning, rejecting, hating ourselves. It is the hurt of our self-pride that still has the upper hand and that seeks to define us. It is a totally different picture when we take the risk of placing our trust in Jesus' words and not in our own strength and successes, in our self-righteousness. Jesus simply embraces, acknowledges, he accepts our poverty and fragility. He never defines us by our failures. He only defines us by his loving and faithful trust. He looked at Peter and, in spite of his weakness, expresses his full trust in him. "Do not be afraid. From now on, you will be catching the big and real fish. Your brothers, your sisters." The difference is that now you will no longer catch fish or people because you are any better or stronger than they are. You will no longer catch fish or people to fulfill or satisfy your own needs or hunger. You will start to catch your brothers, your sisters, to save them. Because that's the only way to save yourself. From that moment, Peter and the disciples discovered where they could find the real source of their own security and meaningfulness of life. Now they could indeed find the strength, the joy to leave everything else behind and follow him. They had discovered the source of a life that is full, real, lasting. Those who love their life will lose it, while those who give their life will find it. Let us revisit our life stories and see when and how much these words of Jesus are true and really life-giving. Following Jesus is indeed a life-giving, but is also a very fishy business indeed. God bless you and thank you.